Hey there, Tennessee fans. Welcome to another episode of Tennessee Fan Talk, where your Vols are ranked 8th, 4-0. We're going to go over that, a little bit that, went on around the SEC. All that and more, this episode of Tennessee Fan Talk. Get on in here.
Hey, Bulls fans. Welcome to Tennessee Fan Talk, the show that is by Tennessee fans for Tennessee fans and your source for hilarious weekly updates on everything Volunteers. And now for the moment you've been waiting all week for, here is Brandon Bird and the Duke.
All right, guys, welcome back. Thanks for tuning back in. We have to go a little bit around the SEC, some crap that we definitely talked about last week with me and Luke. The first one is the snooze fest, the battle of mediocrity, Missouri and Auburn.
What a game.
Oh, my God bless.
I'm sitting here watching. I watched it, and I'm like, my Swanee. There is things happening that normally happens in Tennessee all around the SEC this year.
Missouri putting up, Auburn putting up 14 in the first, Missouri 14 in the second, and then until overtime.
Auburn's one of those teams that is either like first in the West or they are awful. There's like no in between for Auburn.
They're like, ain't first, you're last.
Awful. They win the SEC West. And then the next year they're awful. I mean, it's so weird. It's like
did Kent State put up the most points against Georgia thus far?
Yes,
they did. They put up more points than every other team they've played this year combined.
Yep.
They sure did.
I hope that comes back around to bite them. Of course, Mississippi beating the brakes off Bowling Green. Ole Miss skirting away from Tulsa.
Hey, Tulsa has the best passing offense in the nation.
Skirting pass. Their Bryn put up 112 yards. Your boy Dart with only 154. So
he wins in the name category.
He does win in the name
except
category.
For whatever smoke.
Texas A&M skirting just a little bit. I think I picked Arkansas to win that. And
Arkansas.
The West is loaded.
Arkansas was about to be up 21-7. They were steamrolling A&M, and when that turnover happened and that kid ran that back, like that deflated Arkansas from the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm. Tennessee does that, and it stopped his forward motion. Just saying. I don't forget.
Yeah, Arkansas, they blew a chance to. They really did.
Remember last week we talked about Arkansas leading their side only because the SEC play. They had only done one, blah, blah, blah. I said they won't be there long. And
I think Arkansas has I think they have the worst pass defense in the country. Oh. I don't think it's just in the SEC. I think it's in the country. I could be wrong about that, but they are terrible.
They're still probably the fourth best team in the SEC, though.
Yeah. I would agree with you on that. Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah.
That's Georgia, Bama, A&M, Arkansas.
But you can't give up 2,500 yards passing every game, so it's
no. Jefferson's good though. He
is.
Good.
KJ Jefferson. He's good.
Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah, he's really good.
Alabama-Vanderbilt game was definitely one of Brad's type games as far as scores go.
Snoozer, but hey, I called it. Maybe I'm sure I got close. Even if I didn't guess it, I got close.
I just knew.
Vandy got robbed. It was the officiating that cost them that game.
I saw that on Twitter. Was it really that bad? I didn't watch it.
Oh, I have no idea.
I saw people fussing about it on Twitter.
Were they really? Well, down in Tuscaloosa,
Yeah,
the refs all drive Mercedes, if you know what I mean.
Where they all sing about a song about Tennessee.
Yeah, even if it was poor officiating, if it was fair officiating, they would have got beat 42 or 52-10 instead of 52-3. Yeah.
You want to know one of the main reasons I didn't watch that game? Jordan Rodgers was on the call, and I cannot stand that dude. Cannot.
I wasn't going to watch it, no, regardless. 55.
I mean,
Brad, Brad, you would have been their fourth viewer. So.
I mean, there wasn't really nothing else on, right? And I mean, and a lot of times, sometimes I don't even watch a Tennessee game if I know it's going to be like a blowout, or if I did not watch the interception play. I'm like, I'm walking away and not watching this crap happen because I know what's going to happen. Like the last play of the game, I walked outside. I was getting the grill ready for steaks. I'm like, I know what's going to happen. I am not watching this.
It was nice.
And then I walked in, and Lakin was downstairs, and she's an LSU fan, right? And I walked in, I said, what happened? She's like, because you said you weren't going to watch it, I didn't watch it, so I put on Real Housewives. And I go,
oh my God. It was a good one. They finally, put some pressure on him, make him overthrow, and, of course, the interception. LSU beating the crap out of New Mexico, 38-0.
I'm worried about that next game.
I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, I've watched LSU play two different games, and they are not that good.
No, I mean, come on.
They're just not.
They looked fantastic, against New Mexico. Come on.
Yeah,
dude,
yeah. They're
you know how many passing yards New Mexico had?
Probably.
Hey, let's do this. Let's do this Vegas style.
350.
Let's do this Vegas style. New Mexico over under 50 yards of passing.
I'm gonna go under since it's.
Well, since I have my computer in front of me, I'm not. I mean, if you just said Price is Right rules, I would have cheated and said 47 just so I got an extra $1,000.
47
on the
yards.
showcase.
I mean, okay, rushing over under.
I got it brought up here in front of me.
It's bad. That was bad. Speaking of another bad one, South Carolina winning at home 56-20 against Charlotte. Just come on now. Who cares?
Yeah.
The Clock Commanders.
Who cares? Hey, Spencer Rattler still only went 187 yards in the air. Come on.
Maybe is he going like in the Bo Nix category? Maybe
he very well could be a flip-flop Bo Nix thing. LSU, I'm not too worried about. And
buddy, when you play a big team, I'm always worried.
As I filter,
and they are playing that game at Baton Rouge.
They are.
And let's just say it's going to be a night game. And let's say I'm going to be there, and I carry bad luck everywhere I go.
You're not allowed to go in an LSU shirt then. No Tennessee.
Tennessee I ain't no fraud.
Tennessee is hands down a much better team than LSU is. Like without a doubt. But who knows I've seen crazy things happen in Baton Rouge at night games, and
there is crazy.
You never can tell, but Tennessee should win that game.
I wonder if the game's going to be spooked. Are they going to have some sponsorship on the field for Hooked on Phonics?
The LSU fans are. They're not even going to be able to get to the website anyway.
They have special parking for airboats on campus. It's right beside the handicaps.
Here, LSU is I'm not worried about it. And at the beginning of the season, I was worried about Kentucky. Now, they've had...
Levitz does not look good. He hasn't looked good. I watched the game some yesterday. He doesn't look good.
They have some players that is not going to be coming back for a while.
They are getting the running back next game. I can't remember that guy's name.
Rodriguez.
Yeah, him.
Will Levis was 18 for 26 for 303 yards, 4 touchdowns. Not too bad. They figured out, in Northern Illinois, figured out a little something to keep him. What hurt him against Tennessee last year was his ability to run. They showed bottling him up will work. He was negative 10 yards on rushing, which is great. Now, they just didn't have the pass defense, while they were able to put 303 yards on them. But this was, if it wasn't for the third quarter, Kentucky putting up 10 in the third quarter against 0, it was a close game.
I texted you and said you better be watching.
Yes, you did. So I would have absolutely loved if Northern Illinois would have been closer, or Kentucky was trying to battle it out at the end for a win. That would have been fantastic.
Yeah, Kentucky, they've got some serious question marks. I mean, they are not a top 10 team. I mean,
I think they are, or I think they're better than Tennessee.
I think they've got a good
might
team.
Just me preaching it to myself, but
I'm not hating on Kentucky. I mean, I think Kentucky's got a good team, but I don't think they're a top 10 team. I think they're maybe a top 15 team, but when Tennessee and Kentucky play, I think it's going to give you a better idea how good Kentucky really is.
That'll be is that like our second to last game of the year?
Yeah, it's later on in the schedule
because it goes Kentucky Vandy normally, right?
Yes, leading into week 5, top 25. Of course, Georgia and Alabama up at the top. Kentucky and Tennessee right there at 7 and 8. Ole Miss at 14. A&M at 17. Arkansas moved from 10th down to 20th with their loss. Not too shabby. 7. I mean,
Ole Miss gets better every week.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, at least we don't have to play him this year.
That is true.
I mean, I would much rather play. I mean, all things considered, we probably got the worst team in the West this year. Right?
Who, Tennessee?
Yeah, like we're playing
LSU,
which is probably the worst team in the West,
so.
right?
I would say
LSU.
So. Yeah. I'd say we got lucky with that.
And we're normally we forgot about Auburn.
Well, yeah,
Auburn being bad too. So Kentucky, let's see, 5th, 6th,
Who's Kentucky
7th,
got
8th.
in the West?
We play them our 8th game, FYI. So we will actually play them before Georgia, before Missouri, before South Carolina, and Vanderbilt.
Dang.
Yeah. So it's a midseason.
That doesn't seem right.
It's a midseason game. Yeah, I feel like we play them a little later most times.
I feel like it used to be the last game of the year.
Years
I feel
and
like
years
the Battle
ago.
of the Beer Barrel used to be the last game of the year. I don't remember.
That's something to look into. That's something to look into. That's actually something that we need some comments below on, guys. If you know, without us Googling it, you tell us.
I don't Google. I don't Google.
You tell us. Next week, you all have the week off to get better. What are some things that they have to work at? One is going to be holding on to the freaking football.
Well, we only fumbled it, what, twice? Well, we had a bad snap and one fumble.
He had 2 fumbles.
Who?
Hold on, I'll tell you them while y'all.
I know the tight end got the first one punched out, which that's understandable. Sometimes it's hard to hold that ball if they get it perfect on the nose.
I mean,
it'd have knocked out Mike Tyson.
That was a
that was just Florida's best defensive player, or their second best defensive player, just making a great play. I mean, that's just.
I also saw a stat. I think that Hendon Hooker is 213 consecutive passes without an interception. I think it's 213, which is a UT record.
Way to jinx that one.
What is that? Man, everybody, I mean, he going to throw one. You know, I mean, like Casey Clausen could not throw a spiral, but he's still one of the best quarterbacks we've ever had, and he gets no love.
Hey, who was the freshman kid for Tennessee that made that incredible catch?
He was the backup to Cedric Tillman.
Yeah, he was. It was Tillman's replacement
late in the game.
Yeah. I mean, that was pretty much the deciding. I mean, other than
is that Keaton?
Yeah,
I don't know what the kid's name was.
I think it was Keaton.
That might have been the catch of the year.
It's the play I'm thinking of. It was Keaton.
Yeah, he had 3 receptions for 69 yards. Oh, hey, how you doing?
Knew that was
that catch really turned the tide. I mean, that sealed the tide of the game.
I mean, that was an impressive. And I mean,
it was
obviously.
Unbelievable catch.
Could you? I mean, ifs and buts were candy and nuts, but what if we had Cedric Tillman?
It would have been.
I mean,
it might have been a little more comfortable. It might have a little bit more comfortable.
Yes.
yeah, oh yeah, they definitely would have beat Florida worse than they did.
Because Brew
For sure.
McCoy is very good, but he's he's still not the number one guy.
Right.
And where's Squirrel White? Everybody talks about Squirrel White. I don't ever see this kid.
All right. Before we go, this is a big one. We're gonna put this as a short or a little Instagram reel. Are you ready? 2022 team leaders. Luke was right on a couple of them last week. We are a new week. Week 4 is in the books, and we're going to ask this without you looking at it, Brad.
Nope. Hand up, hand on the Bible. I ain't gonna do it.
2022, as of right now, team leaders passing yards. Which team holds the record for right now, 4 weeks
We're
in?
talking about in the SEC.
SEC.
Tennessee.
That's your guess, Luke?
It's either that or Alabama.
Last week it was Georgia.
It ain't Georgia this week.
I'm going to go with Mississippi State just because they never run the ball.
The answer is Tennessee.
Give me that.
Over under 1,500 yards.
Ooh, I think we're at 1,300 under.
Well, just to be the contrarian, I'll say over.
You should have went under and just said 1,301.
What is it?
1,463.
Okay, so I was right. Okay.
So, of course, we lead in receiving yards on that as well. Which team holds the rushing yards?
Luke, it's your turn to go first. I went first last time.
Rushing yards.
I mean, I got an idea.
Yeah, that's tough.
It's between two in my head.
I'm gonna go with Arkansas.
So that was the one team. The other team I have is A&M. I'm gonna go with A&M.
Yeah.
Both of you is wrong.
Georgia.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. Wow.
Leading in rushing yards, 1,123. Which
Who's second?
Don't know. I'd have to dive in.
I was going for a moral victory,
I'd have to dive in a little
South Carolina Gamecocks do.
further with that. One other is let's give defense a little. Let's go two of them. Give defense a little love here. Sacks. Which team and how many?
I would have. I mean, it's got.
It's got to be Georgia
during the season.
Right now, it's up to now. Yeah,
it's
got to be Georgia.
It's not Georgia
or Bama.
Wow, it's not Georgia.
It's probably something like Kentucky.
It is Arkansas with 20.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And
so they're good. They've got the most sacks, but yet they are dead last in in college football and pass defense. Like, how is that even possible?
Oh, dude.
So they're either giving up sacks or 40 yards.
And you know why Ole Miss leads rushing yards, right? They have not played a conference game yet.
Who is their first conference game? I'm sure it's this week.
It has to be this week, and we'll jump into that on the second episode of this week. It'll be a quick one, being a bye game or bye week. Interceptions, real quick.
Kentucky.
No.
Georgia.
Yes, I was like, come on, he's got the toughest defense.
I mean, your odds are always in your favor for
Georgia.
Everything you ask if you just say Georgia or Alabama.
Georgia with 6. 4 weeks in, 6 interceptions.
Have they played a conference opponent yet?
Georgia?
Yeah.
Yeah. Played South Carolina last week and beat the brakes
so
off
they
of
haven't
them.
played one. They played somebody from the ACC. They played an ACC school. Whoopie poopy.
That's great. All right, guys. We want to thank you for tuning in to this little extended version. It had to be long when we're talking
if I'm being
about
honest, I thought we were already on the second episode.
a big victory.
If anybody knows Billy Napier's address, I mean, I'm ready to set up a GoFundMe. So if we can have a U-Haul sent to his house and get his shit packed up. And,
I feel like a pods would be better because he could move his U-Haul away, but if you drop a pods off, he's screwed.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, I don't care how we do it.
Or
Yeah,
waste management dumpster. Get you a 30-yard rollback or something.
Yeah, get his crap and get him the hell out of Gainesville.
And far away from Tennessee.
I mean, I don't have an opinion. I don't have a dog in that fight, but I just think it's funny as I'll get out there and talk about it. Anybody.
Yeah, that guy sucks.
That guy sucks. All right, guys. You know where we are. We are where you are at TN Fan Talk. See you next week.
Give me a V.
Bring in Lane Kiffin to Florida.